Most people assume their financial decisions are their own, their choices, their priorities, their values. But there is a question almost nobody asks themselves, and it changes everything when they do. Who am I making these decisions for? Every person carries an imagined audience, a small group of observers who exist only in the mind, but whose approval shapes behavior more than any real person ever could. For some people, it's a parent, the one who worked endlessly and measured success and stability. For others, it's a community, the neighborhood, the extended family, the people who knew them before any of this. For others, it's a former version of themselves, the one who struggled, the one who promised that things would be different one day. None of these audiences are present, but they are consulted, constantly, silently, in almost every financial decision made. It looks like keeping a job that no longer fits because leaving would look like failure to someone who valued security above everything. It looks like living in a certain neighborhood not because it serves your life, but because it signals something to people who may not even notice. It looks like being unable to spend money on yourself without guilt, because somewhere in the background an imagined voice is watching and disapproving. It looks like chasing a version of success that was defined by someone else in a different time under different circumstances, and never stopping to ask whether it's still the right destination. Here is the quiet truth about imagined audiences. They are frozen in time. The parent whose approval is being sought may have wanted different things if they had lived longer, if they had seen more, if circumstances had been different. The community whose judgment is being avoided has largely moved on, is absorbed in its own life, is not watching nearly as closely as it feels like it is. The former self, whose suffering is being honored through constant financial caution, doesn't need to be honored that way anymore. The audience isn't watching. It never really was. Financial decisions made for imagined audiences are some of the most expensive decisions a person can make, not because they're always wrong, but because they answer a question that was never asked out loud. What do I actually want my money to do? Not what would satisfy the memory of someone else, not what would silence the imagined disapproval, not what would prove something to a version of the past that no longer exists. Just, what does this money mean to me, in this life, as it actually is? That question is simple, but for most people, it's the one they've spent the longest avoiding.